My name's Alan Hart, and today I wanted to look at the new Hilti press gun. So what I want to do is I've just got this new Hilti press gun today, and I wanted to compare it with the Milwaukee press gun, which we've had now for a year or so, 2 years maybe. So just wanted to run through both of them for you and then just give you my opinion of them both. Just one thing to point out, I'm just a gas engineer and it's just my opinion. I'm not a tool expert, so let's have a look at them. So when we compare both press guns, we can see that the Hilti one is quite a bit bigger than the Milwaukee one. The Hilti one has got the Hilti one is 22 volts and the Milwaukee one is 12 volts. So the Hilti, you can get a slimmer battery, which would make it a little bit shorter, but even so it's still quite a bit longer than the Milwaukee one. So you can use the same jaws for both these press guns. So we've got the Nova Press jaws and these are the M pattern. So that's one thing just to check that your fittings that you use, you need to ask the manufacturer of the fittings or check which jaws are for the fittings. So we use Express fittings or we use Gebrit fittings or Gebrit, however you pronounce it, and they use the M jar. So when the rep from Hilti came, he had some V jaws. Now they are not compatible with these fittings, so that's just something you just need to just double check, make sure you've got the right jaws for the right fittings and also the right jaws for the guns. So yeah, so these jaws fit in both these guns, and if we just have a look at 15mm jars, so to put it in there, that just has a lever, just go like that, that just pulls out. Just put your jaws in there and down, and then you can just use the press gun. It's just got a button on there. So on the Milwaukee one, if you press and hold the button, and if you just hold it for a few seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, it will continue to do the press for you, so you don't need to keep hold of the button. Now that's okay in use normally. If you did jam the fitting, it has a button there that you can press and that will release the jar. On the Hilti one, so with the Hilti one, you just twist that there, so you sort of like push it in and twist it, and then that'll open it so you can put the jar in, and then you just put your jar in and then just push it in. Now with this gun, this is a little bit different. So when you're pressing with this one, you press and hold it until you finish the press, and if it jammed and you had to reset it, it has a little lever on the side here, but you can just go like that, push it down, and you can reset it. So personally I like that one because you just press it and it does the press, but I can see the advantage of this one, because if you start to press it and you think it's not quite on, or you wanted to double check it, you could stop it, you could release it, and you could take it back off and just check your fitting. So you know, whichever you prefer really. So some people say that this looks like DIY, but it's far from DIY. The guns are around £2,000 or so, so you wouldn't be getting a DIY person doing this. Now the fittings, just show you the fittings. So the fittings, they have an O-ring in there, don't know if you can see it easily. And what you do is you put your pipe in and follow the instructions for the manufacturers. So most manufacturers will tell you, they'll have a gauge that you put on there and you mark it with a pen so you know the fitting is in correctly. So we've got us fitting in, and then we get us press gun, and then with that we just press and hold. And that's it, that's pressed. So you can see on there how it's pressed with the lines in it. And then if you look there, we can see that it's got a black O-ring. If you're going to use these for gas, then you'd make sure that had a yellow O-ring in there. Now, for me, the benefits of press, one is the risk of fire in a property, but the main reason for me is when we do a fitting like that, if we soldered that, we would have loads of flux in there, or we would have some flux in there, and we'd get that into the water. So if we're doing a central heating system, we'd end up with all that flux in the heating system, and then we've got to spend quite a lot of time flushing that flux out of the system. Now with these fittings, there's no flux, so it's much easier really. So if you have a look at the fitting there, we can see it's put lines in it, so you can see it's all pressed on. I think press fitting is really good. The downsides, what I would say, is the cost of it. So the fittings are quite expensive, and obviously the guns are expensive. So that's the main downside. The other downside is sometimes you'll struggle to get in with the guns. As you can see, that's quite big. So in some areas you're going to struggle to get in with your press gun. So you might decide that you'd like to solder. But all in all, in my opinion, the press guns are much better than soldering. We did try that glue stuff, but we won't go into that. I wasn't overly impressed with that. So it looks like it's back to press fitting for now. So first look of the Hilti. So it's called the Hilti NPR19-A. So the first look at the Hilti press gun, it looks really good, it feels good, it suits the different batteries for all the other models of the 22 volt, so it looks like it'll be a really good product. The Milwaukee, if you've got Milwaukee 12 volts products, then this will suit you. The problem is most people will have 18 volt Milwaukee products, and then you've got to have a different battery for this gun, so it's a little bit mismatch. So if I'm looking at both of them, there's pluses and minuses with both of them. This one is really good because it's lighter, it's smaller, but you've got to have a different battery. The Hilti one, it's a little bit bigger, but it'll have all the same batteries. So it really will depend on what kit you have. I've got some Hilti stuff with these batteries, so I'm going to try this Hilti press gun for a while and just see how we get on with it. And if we find that it's too big, then I'll go back to this one. But having one lot of batteries would be a benefit for me. So one charger and one set of batteries. So yeah, so I hope that was of some use. If you do have any questions with regard to press fitting, then please add them in comments below, and I'll try my best to answer any questions that I can. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.